Hi guys, it's me, Geraldine, on a hot and beautiful July day in Ohio, and I am here to talk about this month's puzzles. So I picked the 1,000 piece puzzle by Ceaco called All American. And I picked it for July because, well, here in the States, we celebrate the birth of our nation. So what better month to do your flag puzzle in? So I was actually really excited to get this puzzle out. It's been in my collection for a long time. I've had it over 20 years. The copyright on the box says 2001, so it is an old puzzle. And I have loved this puzzle over the years. I have done it many, many times, and I think you should all be impressed that there's still 1,000 pieces all present and accounted for. Yeah, I have had this puzzle for 20 years. I have loved it, and it has actually held up very well. I was impressed with the fact that the puzzle pieces were still in good condition. There were a few that were peeling slightly, but almost all from the back side. There was a couple that had some peeling happening on the front side, but nothing really extreme and nothing that affected the assembly. And I will confess, so this is my confession time on this video, that when I get a puzzle, if I'm not videotaping it, I will leave any pieces stuck together that came stuck together. So I feel like it's like a little extra bonus from the manufacturer when you get some stuck together pieces. They're like, hey, we've already put some of the puzzle together for you. Here's a little hint. So I will leave those pieces stuck together if I'm not videotaping. When I'm videotaping, I feel like it's cheating. So I do take them apart. So in this puzzle, I did take some apart, probably 10 to 20 pieces I had to take apart because they were still stuck together. But that does tell me that the cut on this puzzle maybe left a little bit to be desired. But that being said, I want to have a huge caveat because I don't think that Ceaco, current day Ceaco, should be measured in any way but by what I say about this puzzle. This puzzle is over 20 years old. Don't judge a whole company based on that. So yeah, let's take a look at the pieces themselves. So here is just a random piece that I've got. Get it into focus. It is a one-sided puzzle, so cardboard on the back and picture on the front. There is a little bit of a glare. I did have some more issues with glare on this puzzle, and I have no idea why, because it doesn't seem like it's all that much more glossy than any other puzzle I've done. It is a thinner piece. I think Ceaco just does make thinner piece puzzles. At least 20 years ago they did, but I think it's pretty similar to what they are now as well. And they are all four-sided, but they aren't really necessarily a standard cut of a jigsaw puzzle. So they all have the male-female connectors. They're four-sided, but like you can see, this puzzle piece is kind of an odd-shaped piece. And I think that's partly because they have some puzzle pieces that are more rounded, like rounded corners like here. So then you get like sharper corners because they have to fill in that roundness. And you just get some more odd shapes, but they are all four-sided. So not a truly like random cut puzzle. And the quality of them is actually pretty good. Like I said, it's an old puzzle. It's over 20 years. So you will have some, and I've done it a ton of times, so you will have some issues with the pieces just coming apart because it's been loved on. That's just what happens with things that have been loved on. So like here's an example of, I was talking about the peeling. Like you can see just some minor peeling on the back side of that piece. No big deal. And it didn't affect the assembly. The pieces actually went together really smoothly. Oh, I'm not sure that I actually mentioned what you would find inside this box. So again, it's 20 years old. Like, who knows if it came bagged or not? I have no memory of that. But I will say that it doesn't have a poster. You will use the image on the front of the box for your reference guide. And it also does come sealed. So you can see on the back of the box how the manufacturer wrapped the paper from the front of the box around to the back, and then you just had to slice through the paper to open it using your fingernail or a knife or whatever. So it did come sealed. It also had a fair amount of dust still in the box, even after doing it a whole bunch of different times. So I'm gonna guess there was a fair amount of dust in this box. If you find one in the wild by chance, and it's brand new, it should be sealed, and leave me a comment and let me know what it does actually look like. I mean, like, this puzzle has been so loved, I even had to tape the inside box back together a little bit when I opened it this time. It's been a very loved puzzle. I organized this puzzle basically into its colors. So the American flag is red, white, and blue. So I organized my pieces into red, white, and blue. So when I started this puzzle, I started it like I start all my puzzles. I did the edges first. And then I organized it into their colors, and I decided to start with the blue because it is a single block of color in the flag, and it took up about a quarter of the puzzle. So there were fewer blue pieces than there were red and white pieces. So they fit on the table better. So just logistically, it worked out better as well to start with blue. So I went ahead and started with blue. Now, I want to say that for my Relax with the Puzzle video that is a companion to this one, I did this puzzle completely differently than I normally do a puzzle. So when I am not recording, I like to sit with the pieces and rummage through the box, and I find that relaxing. So I do still start with the border. I always tend to start with the border. But I won't sort by color. I really don't sort at all. The sorting is actually my least favorite part of doing a puzzle. So all the rest of it I really enjoy. So I tend to sit and I rummage through the box. As I find a piece, I check the picture, and then I figure out where it goes and I lay it down. So it is a very disorganized process of putting a puzzle together. For a video that's supposed to be relaxing, that doesn't really work. So I do more sorting. And I found actually that that sorting it and videotaping it and trying to like not be random but actually have kind of an organized system of how to do this puzzle made this puzzle actually a lot harder to do. I would say that normally like rummaging and just figuring out from the picture where it goes is actually faster and easier. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Probably just weird, because there's no reason the sorting should make a puzzle harder. And maybe if I wasn't trying to go in an organized fashion, that would have helped a little bit too, because then I could have just laid out pieces as I found them. But you know, you do what works best for you. I organized it into colors, did the blues, and then kind of was a little bit random on the red and white stripes. I didn't really go in any kind of organized order because it was just way too hard to do so. My overall impressions then are kind of skewed because, well, I have done this puzzle many times over the 20 plus years, and doing it this time was kind of different. So, because like I said, I did it in a completely different way. Some just fact-based thoughts. Some of the pieces were peeling. There were some pieces stuck together. None of that affected the assembly. I did take the pieces apart, like I said. But I love this puzzle. I love the image. It's held up well. I really don't have anything bad to say about this puzzle. It's nostalgic for me because I've had it for so long and I have loved it for so long. So it's all good. So looking at my star ratings, I'm going to base them on just this time that I did the puzzle, this puzzle build. So for quality, I will give it a 3 out of 5. It is a 20-year-old puzzle. Do not judge Ceaco on this. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 because there was some peeling, and originally the puzzle wasn't completely cleanly cut. But again, like, if I'm not recording, that's not a problem. I consider that a bonus. So, yeah, you can take that for what it is. I don't know if the pieces were peeling from the get-go, if they've always been like that, or if it's because I loved on it so much. But a 3 out of 5 for quality. Then for difficulty, so I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Again, I'm basing it on this build. I found this puzzle a little bit harder on this build. If I'm doing it my normal way, then I would probably give it a 1 out of 5. It is not a hard puzzle. If you're able to just kind of sit down with it and go through it and enjoy it, it's easy to match the pieces up to the picture. There's a good amount of variation. You can really figure out where the pieces go. So it's really not a hard puzzle. But for this one, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 because I found it more difficult this time. And then as far as image, I give it a 5 out of 5. I bought this puzzle because of the image. I love this image. It's generally how I pick a lot of puzzles, but it was definitely how I picked puzzles back in my late college days. I didn't know anything about puzzle manufacturers or quality or anything like that. I stood in Target and went, I like that picture and that looks good. So that is how I picked puzzles then. So that is how I got this one. So I do love the image. It is a collage by Diana Van Ness called The American Express. And it is just pictures from media, and I just think it's a great image. And definitely was one of the cooler images I had seen on a puzzle back in the day. So I bought it and I love it. So overall, for this build, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Again, that's just this build. If it was any other build that I've done with this puzzle, I would probably give it a 4 or even a 5 out of 5. Like, I really do like this puzzle. So it's kind of hard for me to downgrade it for this one because the construction and the build was a little bit harder to organize, at least for me. I'm apparently a very disorganized person, and that's how I want to do my puzzles. I would recommend this puzzle. I love this puzzle. Like I said many times in this video, I loved on this puzzle. I love this puzzle. It's always relaxing. It's always fun to do. I'll pull it out at any time. It's great. You're going to have a hard time finding it though, because it is over 20 years old. So if you are interested in buying it, I have no links to link to. You might find it on eBay, maybe on Etsy, a garage sale or a thrift store or something like that. If you find it, if you do end up buying this puzzle and find it, please leave a comment and let me know where you found it, because I just think that would be fascinating, because it's so old. I don't even remember where I bought it. I have no clue. Maybe it was a puzzle store at the mall. Maybe it was at Target. I don't know. So I would love to know where you find it if you actually do find it and buy it. That would be pretty cool. And as I've suggested throughout this video with this build and other video, this is a partner video to my Relax with a Puzzle video, the same puzzle. It's basically just where I put a piece in one at a time. I've got it set to music. It's supposed to be relaxing. You can zone out, even fall asleep. Although this one does end with a marching band. So you might not fall asleep on this one, or it might wake you back up. But if you are interested in checking it out, I will link to it in the description. And yeah, if you like this video, please, as always, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, do all the things. I would be forever grateful. And until next time, guys, relax, enjoy the build, and have a good one. I will see you later.